She's old, she's broke, she's guilty, so hurry up, Judge, and make her pay. Those were the first words I heard that morning in Providence Municipal Court. I was sitting on the bench, looking down at a man who acted like the whole room belonged to him. He said it loud, like he wanted everyone to hear. He said it like an order. I am Judge Frank Caprio, and I have seen thousands of cases. I have seen anger. I have seen lies. I have seen people cry and people laugh at the wrong time. But this man's voice had something else in it. It had a cold kind of pride. He was 34 years old, tall, sharp jaw, hair slicked back like a movie star, a bright white shirt with the top button open, a gold watch that flashed under the lights every time he moved his wrist. His eyes did not look scared. They looked bored, and sitting at the defense table was the person he was talking about. An elderly woman, small, quiet, hands folded like she was holding her own heart in place. She was 72 years old. Her hair was gray and thin, tied back with a simple clip. She wore a worn brown coat that looked too big for her. Her shoes were old and scuffed, like they had walked 1,000 miles. Her name was Maribel Rios. She did not look like a car thief. She looked like someone's grandmother. She looked like someone who used to make soup for the whole family, even when there was not much food. I could feel the courtroom watching her. The gallery was full that day. People had come for their own cases, but when they saw her, they leaned in. They could sense something heavy in the air. The charge was serious. Stolen motor vehicle, a stolen car. And this was the kind of case where one choice could ruin a life. If you believe justice should be equal for everyone, you'll want to see what happens next. I looked at Maribel. I looked at the man again, and I told myself the same thing I always tell myself. Slow down, listen, see the whole person, then decide. That morning, one decision changed everything. ACT 1, set up. The bailiff stood tall and called out in a clear voice, Case 2026 TR 1847, The People versus Maribel Rios. Maribel's shoulders jumped like the sound hit her hard. She stood up slowly. I could see her knees shake a little as she faced me. I spoke in a calm voice, the way I always do. Good morning, ma'am. She swallowed and nodded. Good morning, Your Honor. Her voice was soft. It sounded tired, not sleepy, tired in the bones. I looked down at the file, then I looked back up. Mrs. Rios, you are here because you are accused of taking a car that did not belong to you. That is a big thing. Before we do anything else, I want to make sure you understand what is happening today. Do you understand why you are here? She nodded again, but her eyes were wet. But, yes, sir, I understand. I glanced to the side where the victim was seated in the front row with a tight face and crossed arms. He was the complaining witness. That means he was the person who reported the crime. His name was Trevor Halden. Trevor was 29 years old, clean haircut, thick cologne you could almost smell from my bench. He wore a designer jacket with a shiny logo on the chest. He kept tapping his foot, fast, like the court was wasting his time. But there was something else about him, too. He was not just angry. He looked scared underneath the anger, like someone who hated losing control. I asked him to stand. Mr. Halden, you are the complainant in this matter. Tell me, in simple words, why you are here. He stood like he was on a stage. Your Honor, my car was stolen. My car is my livelihood. I raised an eyebrow. Your livelihood. Yes, I do rideshare and deliveries. I need my car. And she took it. She took it and drove off. I reported it. The police found it. End of story. His words were quick, too neat, like a story he practiced in the mirror. I watched Maribel's face. She looked down at the table, like the wood was safer than the eyes on her. I asked, Mrs. Rios, did you know Mr. Halden before this? She hesitated, her fingers squeezed together. I did. A little. Trevor scoffed loudly. It was a sharp sound that cut the air. A little? That's cute. The gallery made tiny noises. A few people shifted. Someone whispered, Wow. I held up one hand. Mr. Halden, you will not comment while I am speaking to her. This is my courtroom. He lifted his chin, like he was being scolded by a teacher he did not respect. Sure, Judge, whatever. I kept my voice even but firm. Whatever is not an answer. If you interrupt again, there will be consequences. He rolled his eyes. The gold watch flashed. Gold. Maribel finally looked up at me. I'm sorry, she whispered, but I wasn't sure who she was sorry to. Me, the court, herself. Then I noticed something important. Maribel's hands were stained, not with dirt, with ink, like she had been writing something over and over. Her coat sleeve had a little tear near the wrist, like it caught on something. I made a note in my mind. Ink stains, a tear, those things might matter. Act 2, Escalation. The prosecutor, a young attorney with a neat folder, stepped forward. She began to explain the report. Your Honor, the complainant reported his vehicle taken from a parking area. The defendant was located later that evening in possession of the vehicle. The key fob was in the car. The defendant had no permission to use it. I leaned forward. Mrs. Rios, the prosecutor says you were found with the vehicle. Is that true? Maribel nodded slowly. Yes, sir. I was in the car. Trevor smirked, like he had just won a game. I asked, why were you in the car? Maribel took a shaky breath. I didn't steal it to sell it. I didn't hurt it. I used it because I thought I had to. Trevor laughed, quick and loud. She thought she had to. That's priceless. I turned my eyes to him. Mr. Halden, that is your first warning. He lifted both hands like he was innocent. I'm just reacting, Judge. It's a free country. I said, it is a free country, but it is not a free courtroom. The gallery gave a small, low murmur. You could feel people taking sides without even trying. Confrontation 1. Minor disrespect. Evidence. Letter 1. I asked the prosecutor, what evidence do we have today? She opened her folder. Your Honor, we have photographs from the police body camera showing the defendant in the driver's seat. We also have the tow receipt and an inventory list from the impound lot. She handed copies to the clerk, who passed them where needed. I studied one photo. Maribel was in the driver's seat. Her face looked scared, like someone caught in a storm. The next photo showed the inside of the car. And then I saw it, a small pill bottle in the cup holder, a cheap plastic one, the kind pharmacies use. The label was torn, but I could still see part of a name, and I could see refill and a date. I looked up. Mrs. Rios, is that your medication in the car? She nodded fast. Yes, that's mine. Trevor snapped. So she was comfy enough to bring her pills. Great. I looked at him again. My patience was getting thin. Mr. Halden, you are digging a hole with your own mouth. He leaned back, smug. I'm not the one on trial, Judge. I said, sometimes a person's character is on trial, even when their name is not on the paper. He blinked, just once, like that hit a nerve. I turned back to Maribel. Tell me why you thought you had to use that car. Maribel's voice trembled. My grandson. He got sick. The courtroom got quieter. Even Trevor stopped tapping his foot for a moment. She continued. He's 8. His name is Nico. He has asthma. That means he can't breathe sometimes. It comes fast, like someone turns off his air. She put a hand on her chest as she spoke, like she could feel it again. That night, he started wheezing. He was turning blue around his lips. My daughter was at work. She works nights cleaning offices. We don't have a car. We use the bus. But the bus didn't come. She paused. Tears gathered, but she did not let them fall yet. I called 911. They said help was coming, but it felt like forever. Nico was panicking. I was panicking. I saw that car with the key inside. I made a bad choice. Trevor scoffed again, but quieter. Convenient story. I looked at him sharply. Mr. Halden, that is enough. He shrugged. I'm just saying. Everyone has a sad story. Maribel flinched like he slapped her with words. Confrontation 2, authority challenge, evidence. Two, Trevor stepped forward without being asked. That is not how court works, but he acted like rules were for other people. Judge, can we speed this up? I've got work. I've got people waiting on deliveries. My cousin knows the mayor's office. I'm sure they don't want me stuck here all day. The courtroom gasped softly. That kind of name-dropping is when someone tries to use power by saying they know someone important. I stayed calm, but I felt heat rise in my chest. Mr. Halden, do you think the mayor's office decides what I do in this courtroom? He gave a half smile. I'm saying it wouldn't hurt to keep things moving. I leaned forward, voice steady. Let me teach you something simple. In this courtroom, the only thing that moves me is the truth. Not names, not cousins, not money. Do you understand me? He looked away. Yeah, sure. The prosecutor lifted her hand. Your Honor, we also have call logs. I turned my attention to her. Call logs. Yes, the complainant called the defendant's phone twice earlier that day. Then there are several missed calls from the defendant to the complainant later after the car was taken. I looked at Trevor. Mr. Halden, you called Mrs. Rios earlier that day? Trevor's face tightened. I don't know. I make a lot of calls. I asked, do you know her or not? He sighed like I was annoying him. I met her once. She cleans at my building sometimes. She asked for help. I told her I don't run a charity. Maribel's jaw trembled. She stared at her hands. I asked, Mrs. Rios, why would he call you? She swallowed hard. I think it was about my daughter. Now the room felt like it was holding its breath. I said, explain. Maribel's eyes flicked to Trevor, then back to me. My daughter Elena, she works cleaning offices. One night she came home crying. She said Mr. Halden's friend, or Mr. Halden, I don't know. They yelled at her. They told her she was too slow, and they threatened to report her. Her voice broke on that last part. Trevor snapped, that's a lie. I held up my hand. You will not call her a liar in my courtroom. He clenched his teeth. The prosecutor continued. Your Honor, the call log shows Mr. Halden called Mrs. Rios at 2:14 p.m. and 2:19 p.m. The defendant called him at 8:46 p.m., 8:49 p.m., and 8:52 p.m. I asked, Mrs. Rios, why did you call him 3 times that night? Maribel whispered, because I wanted to tell him I was sorry. I wanted to tell him where the car was. I wanted to bring it back. Trevor threw up his hands. Or she wanted to see if I found out yet. I stared at him until he stopped talking. Confrontation. 3. Direct insult. Pause line cross. Evidence. Trevor 3. Build to viral. Quote, I asked the prosecutor, what else do we have? She nodded. Your Honor, there is also a short video from a nearby store camera. It shows the defendant approaching the vehicle and entering it. The clerk played the video on the screen. It was grainy, but you could see Maribel's shape, small and hunched, walking fast. You could see her look up and down the street like she was afraid. Then she got into the car. But then something else happened in the video. A second figure walked into frame, a man in a dark jacket. He approached Maribel's side of the car and leaned in through the open window for a few seconds. Then he walked away. I leaned forward. My eyes narrowed. Pause it. The video froze. I asked, who is that? The prosecutor said, we don't know, Your Honor. The camera did not capture the face clearly. I looked at Maribel. Mrs. Rios, do you know who that person is? Maribel's eyes went wide. Her lips parted, but no words came out. I watched her struggle, like she was being pulled in 2 directions. Then Trevor spoke, and this time he didn't just insult her, he attacked her. Look at her, Judge. She's acting confused because she's old. That's her trick. Old people cry, everyone forgives them. She probably has a whole crew. She probably does this all the time. The gallery reacted. Someone said, that's disgusting. Someone else hissed, shame. Maribel's face turned red with pain, like embarrassment and fear mixed together. I spoke slowly, so every word landed. Mr. Halden, you do not get to use age as a weapon in my courtroom. You do not get to call someone a trick because they are scared. He laughed again, but now it sounded mean. Come on, Judge, you know how it is. She's just a cleaning lady's mom. She's nobody. That line hit the room like a chair falling over. I saw Maribel's shoulders fold inward. I saw her eyes shut tight for a second, like she was trying not to disappear. I felt my face change, not anger like shouting. A colder anger, the kind that comes when you see someone step on another person for fun. I turned to the prosecutor. Is there any other evidence? She hesitated. Then she said, There is one more item, Your Honor, a handwritten note found in the vehicle. It appears to be written by the defendant. The clerk handed it up. I held it carefully. It was a piece of lined paper, folded and unfolded many times. The ink was smudged, like it had been held in sweaty hands. I read it silently first. Then I read it out loud. I'm sorry. My grandson can't breathe. I will bring your car back. Please don't call the police. Please. The courtroom went still. I looked at Trevor. His face twitched. Not guilt, annoyance, like the note was an inconvenience. Viral moment. Trevor stepped forward again, like he could not help himself. Judge, can I say something? I said, You can, but you will say it with respect. He smirked. He looked around the room like he was daring people to stop him. Then he said the line that made time feel like it stopped. Here's my respect, Judge. If she can't afford a car, she doesn't deserve to breathe like the rest of us. For 10 seconds, nobody moved. It was like someone turned off the sound in the whole world. Maribel stared at him with her mouth open. The prosecutor froze with her pen in midair. The bailiff's hand slowly tightened into a fist, then relaxed. Then the gallery erupted. People shouted, What did he say? And, That's evil. A woman in the back started crying. Someone stood up, pointing at Trevor like they wanted to throw him out themselves. I felt my own face change. I could feel my jaw set. I could feel my stomach drop. I had heard rude words before, but this was not just rude. This was a person saying out loud that money decides who gets human dignity. Dignity means basic worth, basic value, like every person matters. I looked at Trevor Halden, and I knew we had reached the line you do not cross in a courtroom. Act 3. The Reckoning. I raised my hand and the room slowly quieted. My voice was steady, but it had weight. Mr. Halden. He shifted like he suddenly realized he was not the loudest thing in the room anymore. I said, Mr. Halden, repeat what you just said, slowly. He blinked fast. I don't have to repeat it. I said, You do in my courtroom. Repeat it. He swallowed. I said, If she can't afford a car, she doesn't deserve to breathe like the rest of us. I nodded once. Not approval. Recognition, like I was locking his words in a box so he could not pretend they never happened. Mr. Halden, I said again, do you hear yourself? He scoffed, but it sounded weaker now. I'm just mad. She stole my car. I leaned forward. Mr. Halden, people get mad every day. Most of them do not say what you said. Do you know why? He didn't answer. Because most people still remember that other people are human. I turned slightly and looked at Maribel. Mrs. Rios, look at me. She lifted her eyes. Tears were now running down her cheeks, silent. I spoke gently to her for a moment. I hear you. I hear your fear. I hear your love for your grandson. Then I turned back to Trevor. And Mr. Halden, I hear you too. I hear your anger. But I also hear something else. I hear pride. I hear cruelty. I hear you trying to stand taller by pushing someone smaller. Trevor tried to laugh it off. This is turning into a speech, I said. It is, and you are going to listen. I let the silence hang for a second. Silence can be powerful. It gives words space to sink in. Mr. Halden, you came in here with a gold watch, designer jacket, and a mouthful of names you think will protect you. You tried to use the mayor's office like a shield. You tried to make this court rush for your schedule. I pointed down slightly toward Maribel, and you looked at this woman and called her nobody. I said his name again. Trevor Halden. Do you know what a nobody is? He looked away. A nobody is not a person, I continued. A nobody is an object, a thing. And that is how you spoke about her. I held up the note. This is what she wrote. Not a plan, not a threat, a plea. That means a desperate request. I asked him, have you ever held an 8-year-old child who cannot breathe? Trevor shrugged. No. Have you ever watched someone's lips turn blue? He did not answer. Have you ever had to choose between waiting for help and doing something risky because you are terrified? His jaw tightened. Still no answer. I said, I am not excusing what she did. Taking someone else's car is wrong. It causes fear. It causes cost. It causes harm. Then I leaned in. But your words today, Mr. Halden, your words showed something worse than a bad decision. I repeated his line back to him. If she can't afford a car, she doesn't deserve to breathe. I let it sit there. That is not justice. That is not law. That is not even basic decency. The courtroom was quiet now. Not the quiet from shock, the quiet from listening. I said his name a third time. Mr. Halden, this court is not a place where rich people get faster time and poor people get less mercy. This court is where truth and respect matter. Equal means the same for everyone. Trevor's face was red now. He looked trapped. For the first time, he looked like he could not buy his way out of a moment. I turned to Maribel. Mrs. Rios, I need to ask you something hard. When you took that car, did you know it was wrong? She nodded, tears falling. Yes, sir, I knew. Did you mean to return it? Yes, I didn't want to keep it. I just needed to get Nico to the clinic. Then I got scared. I parked near the store because I saw an ambulance pass, and I thought maybe help was close. That man came up to the window. He told me I was in trouble. He told me to drive away fast. I leaned forward. The man in the video. She nodded. I didn't know him. He said, drive, Grandma. They'll blame you anyway. The gallery murmured again, angry and sad at the same time. I looked at the prosecutor. Was the child treated? The prosecutor checked her notes. Yes, Your Honor. The child was treated at a walk-in clinic and released.